Hello players, today is day 28 of 30 Days of Games and we are listing the top 30 games of all time in my opinion, and if you have no idea what's going on you can click the link up there. So we'll jump right in. At number 3 is Deus Ex Human Revolution. I've had about 5 or 6 playthroughs of this game alone. It is a first-person cyberpunk game with a fantastic rich backstory and incredible universe. The main element of this game is that you power up with body augmentations, whether that be higher jumping, like super strength, no fall damage, all that kind of stuff. Now, what sets Deus Ex Human Revolution apart from other first-person shooters is that it's set in a, say, dystopian future around 2025, I think it is set, but I could be wrong on that. And the augmentations, the body augmentations, make it unique. And the driving force of this game is clearly the impeccable storyline, which has you hooked from beginning to end and wanting to replay in case you actually miss something. Which is one of the reasons I replayed. I got it for discount on PlayStation 3 and then rebought the director's cut to play that because I missed a part of the story, and then rebought it on PC to get a slightly better graphical experience. I had planned to go off on a little tangent on this video and sing Square Enix's praises for their constant delivery of high quality games and storylines, and I was going to list a bunch of stuff that they've done, but since Mankind Divided has been released, I've decided to go in a different direction. So I'm about 4 hours into Mankind Divided and I am loving the experience so far. The storyline has already got me hooked. I haven't really done anything. I've been exploring, playing the first mission, etc. Mankind Divided, although it's still early days for me playing it, does seem to be a fantastic game with a fantastic experience and a fantastic, I said fantastic a lot, but an incredible deep storyline as well, something that Square Enix is fantastic at doing. The issues are not about performance and stability, although I have had it crash a couple of times. That's neither here nor there. I'm sure that will get patched out, and as much as I dislike it, that's not the reason for this little rant coming up. Now, the game has got mixed reviews on Steam, some praising it for its high quality story-driven gameplay and the mechanics, new augmentations. It really feels like a next step up in the Deus Ex series. And then there are the bad reviews on Steam, quite rightly slating it for the use of microtransactions in the single player. The fact is that there should not be any pay-to-win elements or pay-to-cheat elements, is what they essentially are, in any full-price AAA title. The microtransactions are an absolute disgrace to the gaming industry and they need to be eradicated, especially from a single-player campaign. And I know what you're doing, you're screaming at your computer screens or your mobile phones right now and saying, but there's loads of other games that have micropayments involved in them. Why are people getting so mad about this one? Okay, yeah, it's true, there are microtransaction elements in other games, and we'll get to that in a minute, but this is not a DLC patch, this is actually paying to cheat or paying to win. It's not f***ing Candy Crush. So we'll take a game that's notorious for microtransactions. We'll take FIFA. Now, FIFA has microtransactions, but they are on a completely different caliber to Deus Ex. The microtransactions in FIFA, as much as FIFA is just a rehash of the last year's game with a few tweaks and graphical bump, the gameplay elements in FIFA, the microtransactions in FIFA, are based around a completely separate game. It's no way involved in the main either multiplayer or campaign. So FIFA Ultimate Team, you can buy and trade cards. There's a separate game built into the FIFA game that you can participate in. And I think sometimes they carry over from year to year. I'm not 100% on that. Now, the microtransactions with Deus Ex Mankind Divided, if you was to convert them into, say, FIFA, so we'd take the gameplay mechanic from Deus Ex, convert it to FIFA, it is essentially the same as buying 5 goals for £3 in a match. That's it. It's exactly the same. Another reason gamers are mad about this is not because you need to buy stuff to complete the game. That's completely not true. Apparently, according to the developer, as I said, I'm 4 hours in, I'll know as it goes on, the game was completely balanced and you do not need to buy stuff in order to progress naturally as you would throughout the game. However, this becomes the start of it. If say this game is completely well balanced and you do not need to buy any of this stuff, it's completely optional. That's fine. But the next game, maybe they tweak it so it's around, you can do 80%, but you'll need to buy just one thing in order to get 100% completion. And then maybe the next game it's around 50%, and then maybe the next game it's all microtransactions, and that's how you win the game. And this is a full price AAA game. So we need to nip this in the bud and stop it. And that's why people are mad. They're not mad because this optional thing exists. They're mad because it could be the start of something far, far worse. And we could see it mimic what mobile gaming is doing, and we want to stay as far away from that as possible, especially with full price games. Without the microtransactions on single player, Deus Ex Mankind Divided looks like an absolute masterpiece sequel to Human Revolution. But unfortunately that masterpiece is tainted. It's dirty now. It's like having the Mona Lisa with a banner ad at the bottom of it. Also, how long are they going to keep this store open for is another question. If I come back in 10 years time, am I going to have another playthrough? Am I going to have a broken gameplay element that no longer works because they've stopped supporting it? Understandably, multiplayer goes offline, but this is a purely single player campaign driven game. That's the main element of it. Okay, there was multiplayer tacked on and there's some other modes, but the main reason people buy the Deus Ex games is for the single player campaign. Microtransactions in games just needs to stop completely. Mobile, you can take mobile as it is, but I'd often prefer to see that just completely get rid of it in-game payments as well. I mean, can you imagine it in other games? Like 99 cents for a super mushroom on Mario Brothers? Yeah. And this one single-handed move from Square Enix is an utter slap in the face to all the fans who supported the original Deus Ex games, which is why I'm not singing their praises like I should have been in my pre-planned going off on a tangent rant. So here's the deal, Square Enix. You send out a tweet, a blog post, whatever, and say, okay, we made a mistake. We've listened to what people want, or what they don't want. We'll patch it out. Do that, all is forgiven, and we'll sweep it under the rug. Aside from the long rant about the state of the gaming industry, does Deus Ex Human Revolution, the one that's not trying to mimic Candy Crush, deserve to be in the top 30 games of all time? Hit the like button for yes, hit the dislike button for no, and if you think some other games should be in its place, let me know in the comments below. You can also hit that dislike button if you think it's disgusting that Mankind Divided includes micropayments in the single player campaign.